night curfew has been imposed in the national capital from 10 p.m. tonight. As you see behind me, you have Delhi police personnel who are now making announcements in various localities of Delhi. We are in the heart of the national capital. We are in Connaught Place, and here a Delhi police officer is making announcements. Let's listen in.
अपने घरों में चले जाएं, अन्यथा आप लोगों के खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। आप सभी को सूचित किया जाता है, दिल्ली में कोरोना के बढ़ते केसों के मद्देनजर आज रात 10 बजे से सुबह 6 बजे तक नाइट कर्फ्यू लगा दिया गया है। आप सभी से अनुरोध है कि आप टाइमली अपने अपने घरों में चले जाएं, अन्यथा आप लोगों के खिलाफ कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी। धन्यवाद।
What all legal action will be taken? कानूनी कार्रवाई, किस तरह की कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी उनके खिलाफ जो कर्फ्यू का उल्लंघन करते हैं? किस तरह की कानूनी कार्रवाई की जाएगी?
I'm not in time. Sorry.
ठीक. So the Delhi police is making these announcements. There have been barricades that have been put up. Today being the first night, people are still being advised to go home. Of course, there is a threat that in case they are seen at night from tomorrow, there will be legal action and penal action that will be taken against them. There has been a sudden spike in coronavirus cases, 5,100 cases in the past 24 hours. The mortality rate, the death toll has also gone up, and that is why the police are constantly making these announcements in the national capital. I quickly want to take you through this ground report before I get you more on the broadcast.
Night curfew has been imposed in Delhi from 10 in the night to 5 in the morning, and we are in Connaught Place, and you can see how the administrative officers, the police and the civil defense staff are roaming around. You can see how loudspeakers are being used to warn people to go back to their homes and do not loiter around in the Connaught Place. This is the heart of Delhi, and this is for the first time this year that due to the COVID pandemic, due to the rising cases of coronavirus, this decision has been taken. And this is how the government is going to deal till April 30th with those who are not complying with the government order. This announcement is being made to warn people that strict action and fine can be imposed if they are not complying with the night curfew. With camera person Satya, this is Abhishek Anand reporting from New Delhi.
During the course of the next half hour, we'll also get to the latest from Mumbai, where India Today's executive editor Sahil Joshi joins me for more on the story. But before I go to Sahil Joshi, before I bring in our guests on the broadcast, I quickly want to cut across to India Today's Abhishek Anand. Abhishek, there is a lot of ambiguity at this stage about the night curfew. Who all are permitted, who all are not permitted. What we're also being told is certain passes are to be issued. Is there clarity? Who all is entitled to these passes?
Well, Gaurav, the vendors of the cab associations, the transport associations, they are constantly pressurizing the local authorities to get passes to pass through Delhi. There are BPOs and KPOs who are still wondering how to get the passes, how to access the passes, so that there are thousands of staff who reside in Delhi and go to their jobs in Gurgaon, Faridabad and Noida can be smoothly, taken out from this city when the night curfew has been imposed. So as of now, Delhi is completely silent. There has been no any kind of restriction on vehicular movement. If the person has permit, or if in fact if the person has an air ticket or a railway ticket also, they can be easily allowed. This is the first night. The impact of the night curfew will be assessed tomorrow morning, and then we will get to know how many people actually face difficulties, as the metro has also been shut. The metro has announced that without a valid ID proof and without a valid pass, nobody will be allowed to enter metro station post 10 p.m. till 5 in the morning. Gaurav.
You know, we've been speaking to a large number of officers, and they are saying the aim is not to penalize people of Delhi, but the aim is to keep COVID cases down. And if you look at the latest situation, 5,100 cases in the past 24 hours, and this is a surge from 1.2% positivity. It actually shot up to 5.54%. It's now come down to 4.79%, but it still is too high. Unfortunately, the death toll is also going up. So, of course, there are some vehicles that you still see on the roads. Police, as of now, advising them to go indoors. But does night curfew actually work? Restaurants are extremely upset. Bars and pubs, they are upset. They're saying after an entire year, they were hoping that their business will come back to normal. But on the contrary, they're facing major hardships. But then according to the government and doctors, these are the new hotspots. We bring you this report, whether night curfew actually works or not.
Curtailing the crowding at night, cities after cities, towns after towns turn to night curfews to curb the new surge of COVID cases.
समस्त दुकानें बंद रहेंगी रात्रि 10 बजे से सुबह 5 बजे तक.
With cases climbing in Delhi, the national capital too has imposed a night curfew starting Tuesday. A ban on non-essential, non-emergency movement from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. till the 30th of April. Nationally, the cases were hovering around the 8,000 mark in the first week of February, and in the first week of April are hovering around the 1 lakh mark. Many states have gone in for night curfews. The Delhi government is also saying that because of violations in hotels and pubs, it's important to impose a night curfew right now to bring down the cases. But the opinion is clearly divided on whether night curfews actually work in breaking the chain of transmission, or are they only a band-aid sort of a solution? Some experts aren't convinced that there's compelling evidence that more people catch the virus at night than crowding in markets and other areas during the daytime. And who knows, the night curfews might well prompt people to dine out in more cramped spaces that are out of police sight, or simply party earlier than 10 p.m.
Maximum transmission occurs during the daytime, in closed settings, in crowds, and when people are interacting with each other. Imposing night curfews and weekend curfews is mostly ineffective. Probably it will give a feeling that people have to be more strict in enforcing these behaviors.
Businesses fear the new measure will hit them harder when they are struggling to recover from the lockdown losses.
नाइट कर्फ्यू से क्या हासिल होगा, क्या कोरोना रुकेगा, ये व्यापारियों के लिए बड़ा सवाल है। नाइट कर्फ्यू होने से बैंक्वेट हॉल, फार्म हाउसेस, रेस्टोरेंट, होटल्स और इस प्रकार के जो व्यवसाय हैं, जो बड़ी मुश्किल से पिछले लॉकडाउन के बाद से आकर के अब थोड़ा संभले थे, एक बार फिर उनके व्यापार को धक्का पहुंचने वाला है।
Some medical experts, however, support this move.
People will be reminded now strongly enough that yes, if they don't follow the COVID appropriate behavior, perhaps the risk of getting oneself infected, getting the family infected, and also hospitalizations would perhaps increase dramatically.
On its part, the Central Health Ministry has already written to the Maharashtra government saying that night curfews and weekend lockdowns have limited impact on suppressing the transmission. The jury is still out on whether the measure will serve the purpose effectively. With Bureau Inputs, Sneha Mordani, India Today.
And our executive editor Sahil Joshi joins me from Maharashtra. For more with me, I have Professor Dr. S.K. Sareen, Director of Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences, joining me from the national capital. I have Dr. Shashank Joshi, member of the COVID Task Force of Maharashtra, who joins us from Mumbai. And if I may, Dr. Sareen, will the night curfew work, sir? Or as some argue, this is like applying band-aid on a very major wound?
Well, you have put it in a second manner, that a band-aid on a big wound. Well, at least band-aid reminds you there is a wound. People had forgotten that there is something like COVID. They had forgotten about the COVID appropriate behavior. So I think night curfew certainly has some advantages, like people will not eat out, they will not dine out, go to farmhouses, cinemas, or say in Delhi, at least India Gate, where there is a huge crowd. So at least it has one positive impact of a change in mindset from no free movement to at least a restricted movement. The second part of night curfew is, in my opinion, is a approach by which we can streamline our trams, our traffics. In the daytime, most of the people know they are going for work, they are not going for fun. So they should remember that in the daytime, it's opening of restaurants and others is, people don't go there, but it is only in the late evening that people go out and eat. And there is some very interesting data from Colombia. When they had stopped in-house, in-premises dining, the number of infections came down. But the moment they opened up dining, they allowed movement, the number of cases increased tenfold from 63 per 100,000 to almost 631 per 100,000. So what my opinion is that it is a change in mindset. It's certainly a scrutiny on your movement, and it may help.
That's a very good point you make, that at least it's an effort to alert you to a crisis. There's breaking news that's coming in. Before I bring in Dr. Joshi and before I cut across to Sahil, there's breaking news that's coming in from Gujarat, where we are being told that night curfew has now been enforced in 8 municipal corporation areas across 20 cities of Gujarat. And this night curfew will remain in Surat, in Vadodara, in Rajkot, in Bhavnagar, in Jamnagar and in Junagadh. So night curfew in 8 municipal corporations across 20 cities in Gujarat because of a surge in COVID-19 cases. And Dr. Joshi, in your appreciation, is this surge only because people seem to have thought that they have overcome the crisis after the first wave and we are actually going under the second wave, or as Delhi Chief Minister says, the 4th wave in the national capital? Dr. Joshi.
We are clearly in the second wave. We know second wave hits us harder. The current wave is having faster transmitting strain, which grows in clusters. And we have to avoid all crowded spaces, poorly ventilated environments, and all environments where unmasking occurs. And restaurants is one space where unmasking occurs. And therefore, if you shut them out, and particularly in the evening or night, as Dr. Sarin said, there is reasonable data to alert them that they need to adhere to COVID-appropriate protocols and COVID-appropriate behavior. The key to the pandemic curve is COVID-appropriate behavior, but enforcement of that and having zero tolerance for non-adherence to protocols was not being followed in the last 3 months. And that is where we are now, what we are today. This is something for us to really recognize that it is mandatory to mask and it is mandatory to stay at home, at least for the next 2 weeks in all the hotspots or red zones where the test positivity rate has crossed around 15 or 20%.
That's a very important point you're making, and also a very important time frame that you're giving, at least the next fortnight. Sahil Joshi, if I may bring you in Delhi, we noticed that people were not masking up. People were not maintaining that distance, whether it was festivities or going to restaurants, bars and pubs. And where we are in Connaught Place, you had people, this was like a mela in Connaught Place on weekends. Perhaps one reason for the surge. Has night curfew or lockdown restrictions or partial restrictions, Sahil, have they worked in Mumbai?
Well, we will have to see next couple of weeks to understand whether it has actually worked for Mumbai and Maharashtra or not, because it's not only Mumbai, but all across Maharashtra, there is a night curfew going on. At the same time, there is a weekend lockdown as well. But look at the cases in Maharashtra at this point of time. I have a report in my hand. It says that 55,469 new cases in Maharashtra. And why these cases are more important is because during the first wave, when the Maharashtra had reached its peak in a month of September, it had 37,000 odd cases. But today, when we are saying that it's not even at the peak, at the second level, second wave, as Dr. Joshi was mentioning, Maharashtra already has 55,469 cases, and out of that, around 10,000 cases are from Mumbai. But what the Maharashtra government says is that they have adequate medical arrangements, they have adequate health arrangements. The only thing what the government and the people should be doing is to go for a COVID appropriate behavior, and that is what Maharashtra is looking at this point of time. They have launched this project by putting in the night curfew, by putting in the weekend lockdown, at the same time implementing section 144, that not more than 5 people can gather at one particular spot. Let's have a look at this report to understand that how this night curfew is being implemented in the state of Maharashtra.
Biggest COVID explosion in Maharashtra. Cases continue to spiral in India's COVID epicenter.
States of maximum concern to us still remain Maharashtra because of its share in the total number of cases as well as total number of deaths.
The centre reiterates irresponsible behaviour as a major cause behind the spike in cases.
ये जो एक एटीट्यूड डेवलप हुआ है, सबसे बड़ी जो कठिनाई है इस एटीट्यूड के वजह से जो नॉन कंप्लायंस हो रहा है बेसिक बातों का, वो हमारी चिंता और चुनौती का विषय है.
The Uddhav Thackeray government imposes strict weekend lockdown across the state, even as the Chief Minister urged Prime Minister Modi to allow vaccination for all about 25 years of age. Night curfew is in place across Maharashtra. With the maximum city topping the COVID charts in Maharashtra, its civic body BMC has set up war rooms to manage the COVID situation.
This is KE War Room of Andheri, one of the busiest because this war room has in its jurisdiction the airport as well. This war room receives more than 900 calls.
We are going through a pandemic right now. The best thing that we can do is a triage, and that's what is done in this war room. The positive line list is given by all the labs to ICMR, as like you rightly mentioned, the Indian Council of Medical Research. From there it is given to the state, and from state it comes to BMC.
The Maharashtra government has maintained that the health infrastructure is equipped to fight the second wave of COVID.
बड़े पैमाने पे हम लोग टेस्टिंग कर रहे हैं. होम क्वारंटाइन हो या इंस्टीट्यूशनल क्वारंटाइन हो, सारे नियमों का पालन महाराष्ट्र में हो रहा है.
As the state reimposes curbs, a reverse migration seems to have started, bringing back memories of workers frantically heading to their hometowns in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar during the last year's lockdown.
कुछ काम नहीं, इसीलिए गांव जा रहा हूं. काम मिलते तो नहीं जाते, काम बट नहीं मिल रहा है, इसलिए इसी वजह से गांव जा रहे हैं.
As India continues to emerge as the epicenter of the COVID-19 disease globally, Maharashtra continues to remain as the epicenter of the disease nationally. There aren't any elections happening here. The state has imposed tight restrictions, and enforcement in cities like Mumbai is visible. Yet Maharashtra intriguingly accounts for more than half of the caseload across the country.
With Pankaj Upadhyay, Bureau Report, India Today.
Well, the Maharashtra government thought that the night curfew and the weekend lockdown is going to be the reason how they can break this particular chain, that how the Maharashtra is now has become an epicenter of the COVID-19 second wave outbreak in India at this point of time. The Chief Minister of Maharashtra even spoke to the leader of opposition, Devendra Fadnavis, but now the opposition thinks that it's not the right time to go for this kind of a lockdown. In fact, they want the government to speak to them again to rethink about their strategy to fight this particular second wave. Let's try and understand what is happening at the ground, whether people are actually following this particular night curfew and how it is being implemented. My colleague Vidya is on the ground in Mumbai at this point of time. Vidya, it's been 2 days now that the night curfew has been implemented. There is going to be a weekend lockdown. The shops were closed in the morning. Many are complaining that the night curfew is not going to help. Actually on the ground, what is the situation? Is the night curfew is being implemented the way the Maharashtra government has thought of?
Well, it's not not just the night curfew. Remember in Maharashtra, especially in Mumbai, even the daytime curfews were only essential shops selling essential items. They are the only ones which are actually being operated. Other shops are being closed down. We did see across the entire city many restaurants being closed, even though Maharashtra government and BMC has clarified all over again that the restaurants can operate wherein only the kitchen is working. But we did see many action being taken, especially in areas where the COVID numbers are quite high, like in Lokhandwala, Kandheri areas, where even restaurants where only the kitchen was operating, even those were closed down, while there were other restaurants across the other places where the COVID numbers are not so high, though there the restaurants and their kitchen are being operated, though no customer can really go inside. So ward offices have actually been given a lot of decision-making authority where they can really decide as to what can operate, not operate, how to go about things. In this particular time that we have seen, unlike the last time where the state and the central was, imposing much of the authority. But yes, across, when we came across from the south of Mumbai to the suburban Mumbai, we did see most of the, in fact, none of the markets were operating. All of them were closed, starting from Crawford Market to Dadar Market to just about every market that we do see a lot of crowd in. All of them were shut post 8 p.m. and during the day as well, only because goods that sell essential items are open. That's the reason why most of the markets across Mumbai also bore a very deserted look.
Right, Vidya. As you have rightly pointed out, Mumbai is deserting a completely deserted look at this point of time. The idea behind this particular lockdown, the government is not calling it a lockdown. They call it a restrictions, the stricter restrictions. But in a way, this completely looks like a lockdown at this point of time, Gaurav. And Mumbai has again wore that deserted look which Vidya was mentioning. But the important point, Gaurav, I want to make here is that the death rate, and when we'll go back to our guest, I would like to ask Dr. Shashank Joshi about the death rate, because it was said that this new mutant, which the COVID-19 second wave we are facing in Maharashtra, it started from Amravati, far away from Mumbai. It has reached Mumbai now, and Mumbai is getting more number of cases than Mumbai has witnessed during the peak time, during the first wave. But now the death rate has reached to around 1.81%.
Absolutely. And Sahil, if I may, Sahil, if you permit, I have the additional DCP of New Delhi district joining me on the broadcast. And Sahil, Mr. Vikas Kumar, if I could ask you, sir, what restrictions are you enforcing from 10 p.m. tonight?
As you are aware that DDMA has issued orders and guidelines for enforcing the night curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning from tonight. And we have deployed for this purpose 45 pickets, in which 2 companies, 1 platoon and half sections are deployed. And those 45 pickets, along with our patrolling motorcycles and the whole local staff of the police station, respective police stations, will ensure that people don't roam on the roads. They go home by as soon as the 10 p.m. bells ring.
So, sir, so for example, for a shop to shut or a restaurant to shut, what is the HR so that they are home by 10 p.m. and not shut the shop at 10 p.m.?
As you can see that today is the first day. So, we will explain to the people that this curfew has been imposed, because along with imposing the curfew, it is also our duty to sensitize people and to spread this information that the curfew has been imposed. And as you will see, from today onwards and by tomorrow, the information will flow to the general public, and you will see a very greater amount of curfew enforcement even from today only.
Is there also a penalty in place for those who violate this curfew, and who all are exempt? Is there any documentation required for those who are exempt, sir?
Yes. There are clear guidelines in that order. And if any person has medical issues, if any person is going for vaccination, and if there are commercial vehicles supplying essential goods, and if anyone has a valid ticket who is traveling by train, flight or any other mode, and also if suppose there are certain services, essential services like police, medical and electricity, etc., etc. There are plenty of services, and also commercial vehicles like taxis, cabs can ply, provided that they are carrying people who come under the exemption category.
Fair enough. Wish you all the best, sir, and I hope Delhi is safer. Many thanks for joining me here on India First. So the additional DCP of New Delhi District, Mr. Vikas Kumar, giving us details of those who are exempt and how strictly they intend to enforce this current night curfew. Dr. Sareen, if I may come back to you, and Sahil, my apologies for interrupting at that point. Dr. Sareen, is this problem only likely to escalate in the coming weeks, and is vaccination the only solution, sir?
Well, you asked two questions. Is this going to increase? Yes, painfully, it looks like that we may cross, like Maharashtra, Delhi may cross the upper limit what it had last year. And the way it is spreading, it is worrisome because it is including youngsters, it is including middle-aged and elderly all together. So who is going to help, somebody falls sick if everyone is getting infected? So I think we need to understand 2-3 things about youngsters is, suppose somebody shouts, somebody sings, speaks loudly, then the virus can spread up to 6 meters, not 2 meters, not 6 feet. So therefore it is important that, and it changes from something like it is a droplet to an aerosol form. So it can spread very fast. Therefore, we have to be careful, like exercising or going for running and all those things and speaking loudly. So one is that it is likely to increase. The natural history of the virus is its life cycle is like that. It will take 60 to 100 days to complete this cycle. If you stop all transmission today, the current number of infected people will continue to multiply till the R0 comes to 1, 0.5, 0.25 and it declines. But right now we are on the rise. We do not know. We hope by the end of April or mid-May, we have a peak.
And it's an alarming rise. It's an alarming rise.
It's an alarming rise, rapidly rising. And we may see the number of deaths increasing. 2 weeks from now, the number of deaths might start increasing because right now it is
God
just
forbid, sir. God forbid. You're absolutely right.
So these are our challenges, and also we are worried about people traveling. Those who come from other cities, they have left their city, they get infected in another city. So therefore, it is strongly recommended that travel at this time should be restricted unless it is absolutely essential.
Well, Gaurav, I want to ask one question to Dr. Shashank.
Fair words of advice, Dr. Sareen. Stay with me. Sahil Joshi has a question. Go ahead, Sahil.
Yes, I want to ask a question. Yeah, I want to ask a question to Dr. Shashank Joshi at this point of time. In the beginning, when we had interviewed the BMC commissioner just a few days back, he had said that this virus, it spreads fast, but the mortality rate, the fatality rate of this virus is not as much as it used to be during the first wave. But what we are seeing now, that the number of deaths in absolute numbers are increasing, even though the death rate at this point of time is not more than 1.82%, but it looks like that it is as deadly as it used to be earlier. That is point number one. So is it deadly? That is the first question. And the second question is that is it the right time that the restrictions of the age of 45 should be removed now, and the government should think of doing a vast vaccination, especially in those areas, especially in those 8 districts where in Maharashtra the virus is spreading quite fast and the numbers are increasing rapidly. What do you have to say, Dr. Joshi, about this?
Thank you, Sahil. I think the second question I'll take first, that we have already written to the central government that people above 25, we want to vaccinate them in those zones because they are the working class of population, and vaccination is going to be effective after 1.5-2 months, but we want to be it to be a chain breaker for the third wave if it comes. The first question which you asked is about the case fatality rate. These are compounded case fatality rates over 1 year. If you see 2021, all the case fatality rate has been below 1% or 0.5%. Even if you see today, there were 31 deaths out of 10,000, which means 0.3%. So I think consistently our case fatality rate has been 0.2, 0.3%. But overall, if these numbers keep on increasing, and the healthcare capacity gets overwhelmed and there are no ICU beds, or people come very late, then we will have fatality. So I think the idea is that people should come on time and we should be able to provide them beds appropriately on time. And case fatality rate, currently whatever trends we have observed, and these are only trends, and
that's a cause for grave concern, Dr. Joshi.
To us, but without any audit.
Okay.
That is not a cause. See, the current trends are showing that the case fatality
you know, is that also your appreciation, Dr. Sareen? Is that also your appreciation, Dr. Sareen, that vaccination should now be reduced to 25, the age of 25 and not the age of 45? Or if all those who are 45 and above get vaccinated, at least you have a sizable population that has been jabbed, and that should take care of the spread, in your appreciation, Dr. Sareen?
Well, a vaccine certainly is helpful. It prevents infection. And I totally agree that everyone above 18, why 25, those who are young should definitely have the privilege and get protected. The question is not that we should vaccinate, is can we vaccinate? And can we vaccinate means, I mean, India has such a huge population, I would say close to 70, 80 crores of people who would be in this above 18 age group. Now, can you vaccinate all of them? Do we have vaccine enough? Do we have manpower enough? Therefore, the question of priority came. Yes, however, in states and cities and where this is rapidly spreading, I think one has to find some alternative method where we can vaccinate these people. I mean, I was looking at the DCP. I am sure he has not been vaccinated. He would come into the category, but he's on the front line. He's actually there. So all frontline workers, whether it is police, whether it is media, whether it is doctors, nurses, I think we should, those who have been left out and could not get vaccinated should first get vaccinated on priority. I think we should not stop them. If we can have the vaccine available for all our people above 18, certainly we should vaccinate. But I will tell you, there are two types of vaccine.
Okay.
One you can certainly have, that is your
mask. In fact, there's more information.
It is the best vaccine. And I have seen, every time I see patients in the outpatient, the patient will come with a mask, but he will remove the mask when he is speaking. Now look, when you are speaking, you are spreading the virus. And don't remove the mask. So please remember, mask is your best vaccine. It is 100% effective, almost 100% effective. And there has been a large study, again in the US, that when the masks were withdrawn for some time, 2 months or so, then there was a sudden increase of almost 13 times. But when masks were actually implemented, they could avert close to 2 million
I will
deaths
let that be.
So, first vaccine is your mask. Second vaccine is...
Very important point, and every Indian who's watching this broadcast, absolutely, please watch this. Please listen to Dr. Sareen. Mask up, mask up, mask is the best way to prevent the spread of novel coronavirus.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.